Have you found that there's been anything that is pandemic related, such as a greater, you mentioned the mental health, but just a greater awareness and appreciation of where health and fitness and wellness fits into people's life, and then making, whether that's an investment decision or a conscious decision of probably, just like we've spoken about, in terms of traveling, I'm going to do this differently before. Have you seen any of those kind of shifts at all?
Well, I think, COVID's hit us all hard, and long COVID, I've experienced that. It's brutal, and I'm averagely healthy, fit. I'm fit. If you weren't, tough. So I think what this has done is this, everything we've gone through has made people stand up and go, actually, I probably do need to look at my health. And that doesn't mean you have to go into a gym or a fitness club or to do that. Maybe just going out for a walk or doing something or eating better. Mm-hmm. So I think people are making better lifestyle decisions as a consequence of what we've been through over the last few years.
Right.
How do we pick up on that? I think we need to, as an industry, we need to pick up on that yet again. So putting more holistic programming that isn't just fitness, that looks at the totality of different things, whether it's sleep and nutrition and providing more education. Yeah. Because where does the general pops get their education from if they're not coming to us? I'll tell you where they're getting their education from. Is Instagram, right?
Yeah, and or we were talking, I don't know if it was recorded, but we were talking about levels as an example. And so I've learned a lot, just basic things about what to do, types of food to eat, what to do after eating, just simple things like walking. They always talk about the benefits of walking, but I never really appreciated how much a walk does to the food and levels out. Digestion levels out. You puts your glucose levels down, and just simple little things like that I suppose you don't really class them as what you would get from your fitness club, but it would be good if the brand that you was associated with was the brand that you went to get that information. Just as those little bits.
We speak a lot about this at Midtown, right? Is the industry has gone out saying we want to help people lead healthier lives. But are we really doing that? What's the message we're putting out? How inviting are our clubs to the average person? Super intimidating, right?
Yeah.
So we've developed a program called Launch at Midtown, and it's very aspiration driven, and it meets people where they need to be met, which I don't think we've done a good job of as an industry, if that makes sense, to really break down barriers. Nowhere in these 18 aspirations we've created, which really give you a guided pathway through our club, and then we create a personalized journey for you. None of them is weight loss. None of them is put on muscle. It's things like, complete confidence. For example, I went on holiday this summer to the beach, and I didn't feel, this isn't me, but hypothetically, I didn't feel comfortable to take my shirt off on the beach this summer. I need to do something about that, right? These are real life situations, and I think as an industry, coming out of COVID, we're more aware of that now than ever before, because we're seeing different people come into our clubs. Mm-hmm. Different people, so we need to change our messaging to these people. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
It takes time. It's going to take time, but I think we need to do that, right?
Yeah.
And so therefore it can't just be fitness. It's got to be wellness and community, connection. And a lot of what's happened over the last couple of years is we've lost that connection. And how quickly we did. See how quickly we got into this feeling of being, I'm intimidated of being out in a public space around with a lot of people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right.
Social anxiety. So I think we provide a vehicle for people to meet together, exercise together, and something very special happens. It's hard to measure this, and Les Mills have done a great job with this over the years. They were well ahead of their time, is measuring what they call the groupness effect of people working out in a group together and exercising and sweating, and high-fiving and smiling, right? And I think we've got to build more positive messaging around that. Because I always say to the people, to our team, stand near the entrance of your club and see how people walk in. Stand there, and when they leave, they're different people. Yeah. Like when you work out, when you finish, you're happier and healthier. You're not healthier, but you're happier, and you're just in a better state of mind.
Right.
You know?
How do you said about messaging, and I was curious to hear your views on this, because it's something I've spoke to a number of people about. But one of the if you think about the fitness industry, then it's and you have to do like one of those word bubbles. Then things like HIIT, high intensity training, sort of burn. A lot of those words would come out in this sort of.
Yeah.
How would you describe fitness studios or fitness clubs? And those would, for me anyway, I think those would be the words. But then really when you kind of look at what people need from fitness at the moment, some people, and I was talking to Michelle Dalco about this actually, a lot of people, the last thing they want is to be stuck on a HIIT class. They're very inflamed, they're stressed, they're not recovered, and they actually need to, what he calls, I think, work in as opposed to work out.
Work out.
Yeah. You need to do the opposite, build them up, and then you can start doing that to them. So how do you, because you're a smart guy, you follow a lot of this stuff, how do you balance that out in terms of your messaging and combine sort of what people need against what people think they want?
They think they need.
Yeah.
And that's where the education comes in, right? That's why, when you think of those words that come in here, mood lift, complete confidence, improve my confidence, all day energy. Right. What's the one thing that people over 35 wish they had more of? Energy.
Yeah.
How do you measure energy? You can't. Right? So, I want to be happier and healthier and have more energy. I want to sleep better. Interesting. Now, as we move forward with apps and different things that we can measure, we're going to get more sophisticated, right? And so that's why I'm quite excited about the future. And how do we bake that into our club offerings to offer these holistic sort of programs to get people where they need to be, right?
Right.
So it's not just HIIT, because a lot of the time we don't need to do HIIT training. Doing some stretching and myofascial release or trigger point work is far better for you to recover to perform better.
Yeah. But that's a difficult thing for one brand to do on their own when they're being bombarded with other stuff, isn't it? How do you change that conversation, or do you just focus on your own community? I can see it happening, and I can see more people being aware, but there's still
these niches, right? So I just read an article. You text me and told me to come down here, right? I just read an article in that time. About the two former owners of SoulCycle have just started up a new concept, which is like group therapy. You sit around and everyone gets to have, I think it's 2 to 3 minutes, I'm sorry if I butcher this, but 2 to 3 minutes where they get to speak uninterrupted about what's going on in their life in a group. That's pretty cool,
Yeah.
When we were at the Sweat Festival last year, 2 years ago.
3 maybe.
It was February 2020.
Oh, was it? Actually, that's the last time I was in England, so you're right. Yeah.
Yes, right. I was on a panel with a girl that a lady. She was fantastic. You probably know her. I wish I knew her name. Her boutique concept was around mental health. It was a mental gym. It was a mental boutique studio where they work out, but they offer like group coaching. So I think where the industry will go is you'll find these segmented niche. The CrossFit studios will stay there, right? Yeah. The bodybuilding gyms will stay there. Great. The performance spaces, but then you're going to start to see more wellness spaces, recovery spaces.
Yeah.
And then a place like us at Midtown, we want to wrap up the best of that into one place.
Right.
And the best in class.